Charging. Complete. Positioning anchor. Complete. Transferring. Complete. Calculating termination time. Why? Why am I here? I was hoping you would answer this question for me, fool. I've no idea. Why I wasn't sent back to my world? I was hoping you could tell me. Never mind. Long story short, I didn't see you when I left the ruins, but I found you here and unconscious. I was told Hodo had broke loose again and Rita went to the front line. Just now, Teresa and I sent envoys to Shixel and Jormungand asking for their help. If Hodo picks Zambaria as its first target, the other two kingdoms may very well stand by. I've kept myself away from worldly affairs for too long. That same logic seems to slip off me. Oh, Big Dipper. The lanterns point to Moonimberia, but I didn't receive any report on its appearance there. Standing on a hilltop outside Moonimberia, we saw sporadic fire burning in the city's commercial area. Your Majesty! The Chancellor sent word and told us to hide in the mountain. She said the beast wouldn't go there. So where's the Chancellor then? I have no idea. In the smoke screen stood a tall figure. Your Majesty? So I failed to keep you from here. Sorry you have to find me in this utterly unpresentable state. Hello, Hodo. Meteor and now. The formation cannot stop it! Hodo, its power is surging rapidly. The power surge will backfire and cause an explosion. Hodo means to kill all of us with a suicidal attack. Let me distract it and lure it to the sea. You've stopped it before, and you can certainly make it this time. I kept falling as I heard a massive boom from outside the pit. Hodo should have fallen into the sea, and the explosion wouldn't hurt anyone this way. I fumbled around and found myself still in the pit. It took me a while to get used to the light. Somehow, the pit turned out to be shallower than I remembered, and very soon I climbed out with ease. A tree gradually emerged on the horizon, a rare sign of life in the desert. I also saw someone under the tree. She seemed to be staring into the tree and lost in her thoughts. Her Majesty's calculation is right. They're still alive. We managed to contain the damage, but Jormungand and Shixel, it's outright catastrophe. After Hodo perished, the two kingdoms assumed their soldiers helped, but they never returned. Missing envoys and troops? They might jump to the wrong conclusion if they relate this to the Hodo explosion. Yes, rumors rose believing it was us who freed Hodo and imprisoned the aiding troops who hurt the two kingdoms. Her Majesty bought us time to evacuate to Moonimberia and defended the besieged city herself to the last breath. According to my informers, the Allied invaders failed to find their lost troops in Moonimberia. Moonimberia has fallen. We cannot return now. After Rita left, I eyed the Tesla Zero lying under the tree. Here we go again. Why the envoys and the aiding troops all went missing? What happened to them? With Miss Ironfist's robotic voice ringing in my ears, My consciousness had drifted freely in the twilight zone. I felt as if I was soaking in a hot spring, but very soon the pleasure was brutally ended by someone slapping my face. Who is it? My eyes opened to find a machete's point dangerously close to my nose. Hey, who are you? I'm just passing by. Stay clear of this place. War is coming, and things are going to get nasty. The Shixel emblem on the soldier's armors almost gave me a heart attack. Thank goodness they soon left me alone. Not far from where I stood, the Shixel and Jormungand soldiers were marching towards Moon Emberia. The twins are little devils that won't go down easily. Maybe something big happened on their way to Moon Emberia. One puzzle after another. Somehow I felt finding them was the key to putting together all the puzzles. After a long while, I finally reached the valley. Based on Rita's intel, this is where everything begins to fall apart. In the embrace of the high cliffs, a waterfall poured down. On the ground, a maze of winding tracks led to darkness. I kept walking, for I didn't know how long until I finally spotted some traces left by humans. Some rubble, a military lamp, and a pack. I was about to check the pack when I saw something move in the corner. Lilia? It turned around and something it held fell to the ground. Captain? You didn't make it back? It's a long story. Kongming's formation went wrong. Why are you here? There were a lot of monsters in the cave, and I'm trapped here. Monsters? I meant to ask more, but I suddenly caught a glimpse of some weird-looking monsters rearing their heads. That's them. I fought them off many times, but they always came back. It's like there's a demon on the other side. I can't kill them all, and I can't drive them away. I'm never leaving this cave now. Wait. They found us! Our eyes met the monsters, and they began to charge at us immediately. Right before it's too late, I yanked Lilia to the side. The monsters couldn't stop and bumped into the wall. The cave trembled heavily, and crushed stones began to rain down. Run, Lilia! Strawn? Phew, we're safe now. The monsters didn't catch up. By the way, why are you here? I got separated from the Shixel soldiers. That's it? You sure know how to skip all the important parts. Oh, fine. I'll start with the beginning. After we got into Kongming's formation, I don't know what happened, but I was sent to Shixel. Rosa Idiotka, Kongming, and Captain, you are all gone. I saw the enlistment ad that said 300 a month with food and shelter, so I signed up and got sent to Emberia. On our way, we found some villagers chased by monsters. We wanted to save them, but more monsters came and we split. So the Shixel soldiers are still alive? Yeah, should be. Maybe they're trapped at other places. Oh, right. The messenger from Emberia is also with them. I see. We walked into the cave as we talked. All of a sudden, some soft noise came from the darkness ahead. Hush! Is it monsters? Nah, it's slap sound. Maybe someone is playing mud. Eh? Lilia? Is that you, Lilia? The next second, something in the dark popped up and grabbed Lilia. Rosa! Oh! I thought you were dead! You're hurting me? Huh? Captain is here too? Great! Rosalia, why are you here? There are a lot of monsters in this cave, and I'm trapped here. I fought them off many times, but they always came back, like there's something terrible on the other side. I can't kill them all, and I can't drive them away. I'm never leaving this cave now. Can you help me, Captain? This sounds familiar. All right, I got it now. Let go. Rosa, your hands are full of mud. Stay away from me. Oh, right. Come check out my stove. You call that lump of mud a stove? That's what I learned in German, God. Super useful. Rosalia, you haven't told us why you're here. I'm now the second biggest boss in Jormungand. I came with thousands of brothers for some serious business. That's nothing compared to me. I'm a Schicksal general now. The Corsair Queen gave me her treasure. Let me find it. Ta-da! The Jormungand Universal Compass. Looks like it's made of brass and totally soaked. Pretty much useless now. Even without the compass, the great Rosalia can always tell directions. Duh, I don't believe it. Well, I believe neither of you. Right, where are the Jormungand soldiers? I got separated. Oh, that's a surprise. It's like you two were following the same script. We were about to save Kongming, but we ran into some villagers whose village was taken by those monsters. There were too many of these monsters and we couldn't beat them. We got trapped here and there's no way out. The twins being here means the other soldiers are not far away either. Only a matter of time before we find them, but... Villagers and monsters? Pretty much the same story told by Lilia before. Rosalia and Lilia. Do you still remember what the villagers looked like? No. But the leader was a man in black. Are you two messing with me? Anything special about this leader? Special? He looks super ordinary. Oh, he was holding a black umbrella on a nice and sunny day. The villagers I saw had no umbrella. They looked normal too. Never mind, I give up. You're not giving me much, but I can tell something isn't right. I'll think about it later. Follow me. I'll take you out of here. Huh? What are you two doing in the corner? Hold on. Don't eat anything unclean. It's super yummy. Do you want a bite, Captain? Hey, get this black thing off my face. Huh? It smells... Is it sweet potato? Yeah, it's a teeny weeny burnt, but the taste is still awesome. Rosa only baked 2. That's not enough. That's because the tiny stove can only bake 2 at a time. Captain, give yours to Lily. Why would there be sweet potatoes? Where did you find them? There's plenty over there. Just dig up a bit of soil and you'll find them. What are you doing, Lily? Don't dig out my sweet potatoes. I found them. It's mine now. Let's bake them. Be careful. The monsters might smell it and come. Come fight me, Vodka Stormmaster. Winners takes all. Come fight me, Vodka Typhoon. Winner takes all. I'm having a hard time keeping the voices straight. None of them is listening. Hush now, monsters are coming. Rosa Idiotka, you brought the monsters here. What? It's your noise that drew them here. Leave my sister alone! Finally made it out. Are you all right? Rosalia and Lilia lay still on the ground and gave me no reply. Hey, Rosalia, Lilia, are you all right? I'm starving. No stamina left. Can't move a finger now. One sweet potato is not even an appetizer. I didn't bring my stove and I can't bake more now. Get up! I'm sending you back to the Arch-Imperator and Corsair Queen. How about this? I know a place where you can eat to your heart's content. On hearing the word eat, Rosalia and Lilia sprung up like a pair of freshly infected zombies. Where is it? I can still walk if it's not too far away. Moon and Beria. When we arrived, only a handful of soldiers stood guard at the gate, and sorrowful zither tunes echoed in the city. We found Kongming lost in her thoughts behind the zither. She didn't even notice us until we came close. Captain? I knew you wouldn't die easily on me. I saw you ran over the cliff and I couldn't find anything left by you. I had to think that you can rest your worries now. I promised you to look after myself, didn't I? Captain, you're a reckless fool. Wake up, Rosalia. There's no sweet potato left. Are you biting your fingers? Rosalia and Lilia, after you disappeared, were you seeking them too? I'm starving. I can eat 2 horses now. They ran into monsters and got trapped in a valley near the Jormungand and Emberia border. We're in war, and the best we have now is our emergency food supply. 2 big steam buns, 20 small ones, and fried dough sticks. Is this enough? That should do. I simply ignored the silent screams from Rosalia and Lilia. We're saved! Following Kongming is the rightest choice. Kongming, we saw many Shixo and Jormungand soldiers on the way. Are they? They believe we have held their missing troops and thus allied to fight us. We cannot hold them off. I've told Rita and Teresa to evacuate the citizens, but I didn't foresee your return. Forgive me for being blunt, but Kongming, if you have some strategy to fend them off, now is the time to use it. Captain, what do you mean? Your intention is obvious. You plan to guard the empty city alone against thousands of armed and angry soldiers. It's the only way that works. Well, there must be another other options you've considered. Yes, as you said, I do have another strategy. With the capital under siege, what's keeping you from acting decisively? You should know that nothing outweighs life. I know. And I also know mine is not the only life that matters. If the price for saving the city is thousands of innocent lives, would you still choose to follow through? My decision is final. I do have a formation to annihilate every human being around the city, but I've forsaken it. Taking thousands of lives hostage might compel the besiegers to retreat, but it would only justify their invasion. So, this is the only way. In the setting sun, Kongming overlooked the vacant city with her mournful but determined eyes. All went quiet, and even the twins, gulping down their food, felt something and raised their heads. I looked into their confused eyes. Kongming, I may have a way to avoid the kingdom conflict. Jormungand and Chixel invade us because of the Hodo explosion. Snow melted and sea formed in the Snow Nation. Ocean receded and land rose in the pirate haven. But the beast is not Emberia's fault, and they fight us because they believe Emberia diverted the damage to them. Yes. We don't know if it's an easy excuse for them to justify the invasion, or a true conviction of righteous revenge. But the spark that started the fire is the missing troops that never returned to their home kingdoms. Keep talking? What if survivors of the missing troops show up? You mean... Yes. Someone gave me a list of all the soldiers sent to Emberia for aid. In the list, 2 names caught my attention. Vodka Typhoon and Vodka Swordmaster. They're Rosalia and Lilia's aliases. They were each sent to Chixel and Jormungand when the formation went wrong. I see. I noticed their disappearance, but at the moment, the situation required me to focus on the battle. Now that we can play the survivor cards, the fundamental justification behind their invasion does not stand anymore. This can at the very least secure us a negotiation with the besiegers. Rita told me the 2 aid forces were led by Vodka Typhoon and Vodka Swordmaster, but I never made the connection. Even so, it still puzzles me that the 2 kingdoms should put our feud aside and send the soldiers to our rescue. As for this, Lilia, tell us why. Lilia gobbled down a big steamed bun and cleared her throat. The Arch-Imperator was hesitant about helping Emberia. After all, we have this Chixel First policy. But she told us the 3 kingdoms were leaves on the same branch, and Emberia's peril would be felt by all. I see. But even if negotiation is possible, the disastrous aftermath of the Hodo explosion won't be ignored. To put myself in their shoes, I'd never withdraw my siege simply because the misunderstanding has been cleared. About this, Kongming, a private word, please? Lily, I think Captain and Kongming were staring at us all the time. Nothing serious. Let's get fed first. The command was set at the border of Jormungand and Emberia. The vanguard had sieged Moon and Emberia, but the command was still at the border. That sent a very subtle message. The command was in a cave rather than a camp. That's part of the legacy left by Hodo's explosion. The snow on the great plains of Chixel had all melted and half the kingdom went underwater. And the tide-riding pirates of Jormungand were turned into cave-dwellers. It's not your fault, Captain. Hodo threatened all of the realm, and it's impossible to contain its damage. If you didn't lead Hodo into the sea and I didn't activate the Guardian formation, we'd be seeing more miseries. I know all along, but still. A snort put an end to our conversation. We had already reached the depths of the cave. I looked around and found Jormungand trade commodities randomly piled up in the corners. The leaders of the Allied forces measured us up with cold eyes. On making eye contact, a trace of surprise flashed over each of their faces. But they soon resumed calm and fixed their unfriendly eyes on Kongming. Well, well. The legendary first Grand Seeress in the flesh. What an honor. You played us like a fiddle, Master Strategist. 1,000 years of wisdom on a little girl that couldn't look more than 12. Who'd have thought? You know I'm an elder, but you don't respect me as one. I've heard a lot about the heroic second Corsair Queen, but I have to say you turned out to be a disappointment. You... Enough! We're not here for petty arguments. Kongming, you should have seen what you've done to Jormungand on the way here. And I have to applaud your courage waltzing in here with only 3 guards. Or maybe in your eyes, we're no more than a pack of bandits that pose no threat to you. With the last word, the Arch-Imperator threw a punch on the wall. The ground quaked and rubble fell. The cave trembled all over under the impact. Arch-Imperator, your reputation has long preceded you, and I'd say it's well justified. I'll be candid. I have 2 goals. One is to prove my innocence, and the other is to ensure the Empire's survival. I'll be candid too. I'm afraid none of your wishes will be granted today. Hime, Corsair Queen, please remain calm. Shixel and Jormungand's sufferings all came from Hodo's explosion. But the beast is not Emberia's fault, and you're here because you believe Emberia diverted the damage to Jormungand. So what? I don't intend to question your judgment, but there was no such diversion. Captain, you're adding insult to injury. You're crossing the line here. If you fail to produce valid evidence, it takes remedy to convince you, not evidence. I fully understand your motivation to hold Emberia accountable. But what if Emberia is also a victim? That's a lie. Yes, Emberia suffered the first when Hodo broke loose. But we dispatched troops to your rescue as soon as we heard. How did our kindness repay us? Our soldiers are missing, and Hodo's explosion shifted the terrains of Jormungand and Shixel forever. While Emberia sustained some losses, but your existence was never threatened. I say that's evidence enough. Please hear me out, Corsair Queen. Let me tell you the truth why Emberia alone survived the Hodo explosion. Hodo is a ferocious beast I sealed 1,000 years ago with the help of my Emberian friends. For the past millennium, I have been reinforcing the seal, and I naturally understand the beast's rage towards Emberia. For insurance, I deployed the Guardian formation across Emberia during my early travels. Only I can activate the formation, and it's the only thing that kept Emberia from collapsing in the explosion. Still, I underestimated the beast. The formation deployed over centuries crumbled like a paper in the explosion. If not so, you wouldn't be able to march to Moon Emberia without much resistance. She is telling the truth. Don't fall for her lies. Her eyes tell me she's not lying. These are the eyes of a protector. But what about our missing soldiers? Where have they gone? It simply doesn't make sense. Like we said in the letter, the troops didn't reach Emberia, and our envoys didn't make it back. I personally received the Emberian envoy, and he was with the dispatched Shixel soldiers. Same here. Yes, it happened on the way to Emberia. We are yet to figure out what exactly happened, but the survivors' words might carry some weight. If not for the survivors mentioned in your letter, we'd never have this conversation. Rosalia and Lilia, tell us what you've been through. We were about to save Kongming, but we ran into some villagers whose village was taken by monsters. But there were too many of these monsters, and we couldn't beat them. We got trapped here, and there's no way out. We met some villagers asking for help too. We wanted to help, but more monsters came at us. Villagers in both stories. That does sound suspicious. But how can we be sure the twins haven't betrayed us and made up the story? After the explosion, the Jormungand Sea dried out and all the ships were beached. The fishers had to abandon their homes and settle in the caves. At this time of year, the nights are still cold and many of them have no shelter, no food. We've lost everything, but we have to live on. We were born fishers, and plowing the land isn't in our blood. How are we supposed to make a living then? Till now, most of our houses are flooded, and our farmland has all gone to waste. No crops can be grown again. The two kingdoms are living hells now. Even if you told the truth, we can't simply retreat and wait for death. I understand your rage and desperation, and that's why I told you. It takes remedy to convince you, not evidence. Please take a look at this. The Grand Cirrus has prepared a systematic relief plan to cope with the damages. Emberia will provide Shixel with the blueprint of the wind tower. Wind tower? Yes. It can fasten evaporation and drainage. Meanwhile, Emberia will support the reconstruction with the latest tech. For Jormungand, please read this page, Corsair Queen. Emberia will provide 5,000 mobile houses to shelter the homeless. Mobile houses? Building a house takes months. I doubt you can really deliver. Please rest assured, Corsair Queen. This type of house is easy and fast to build, but can last long years. When did Emberia prepare all these? They sound like inventions from another world. No, they were not prepared for the occasion. The Grand Cirrus developed them not long ago for the Tariri concert tour. The wind tower can drain off the water on a rainy day. The mobile houses are for fans queuing up for a signature. If we can't feed our kingdoms, all your promises are no more than lip service. We have just the answer for that. The twins found a nourishing staple in the valley that ripes in 4 months. Rosalia? Lilia? Oh, shoot. It's exactly what they're having. It's named Golden Potato. There are some baked ones for you to taste. It smells good and tastes delicious. But we're out of time. Shixel would be a kingdom of corpses when it ripes. Don't worry. If our peace treaty goes through, Emberia will supply enough food to feed your people for 4 months. How much food do you think is needed to sustain for 4 months? That's ridiculous. How about 8 million tons? I signaled Kongming with a seemingly casual side glance, and she gave me a nod that's almost unnoticeable. Fine. 8 million tons, not a gram short. What? Captain, this is not child's play. An empty promise will cost you dearly. I'd never play with fire when it comes to diplomacy. Besides, Emberia will dredge the watercourses in 3 years. We will unite. We'll build traffic hubs and lead international trade to prosperity. Emberia will also freely share the latest technology so that all 3 kingdoms can benefit equally from progress. If you sign the treaty today, peace and prosperity across the realm will become reality in no time. What do you think, Arch-Imperator? I need more to convince than sweet words. Before I could further explain, a huge boom sent the whole cave shivering with falling rocks. What happened? Thunderous monster roars were felt all through the cave, But the Arch-Imperator and Corsair Queen didn't even blink. They're here again. I'll lead the soldiers to attack them from behind. These monsters are outrageous! Never know when to give up. Today is the day for them to learn the hard lesson. Oh boy. Just so. Okay.
久々の戦場よ。了解。
Okay, well, I guess they're dealing with the icy ones. In the meantime, I don't know, they're thinking the icy ones.
今目的地に急ぐわよ。
There we go.
了解。今目的地に向かっている。熱演奮闘。抜刀せよ。烈火。了解。今目的地。急ぐわよ。
Wait, why are they not frozen? With a mighty blow from the Corsair Queen, the monster bit the dust. Where were we just now? After the chaos, the cave became an even bigger mess. The Corsair Queen pulled over a crate and sat down casually. Well, you've all seen what Jormungand has turned into now. Captains. Captain's terms sound tempting, but they are too little too late. We have a conclusion now, and there's no need to talk more. Guards, escort our guests. The Corsair Queen snapped her fingers, and the next moment we were surrounded by fierce-looking pirates. Wait! Corsair Queen, if another beast appears, how will you handle it then? Nonsense! Yama, Amorphous, and Hodo? They're not wild animals you'd run into every day. Hold on, you mean there are other beasts like Hodo that may ravage the realm? Captain saw it with his own eyes. Do you know why Captain would return here years later? I'm listening. Captain roamed the realm and visited a secluded place where writings on the cliff tell the legends of 10 beasts. Chonchi, the first and fiercest of the 10, has a resemblance of tiger and eagle. Descends every few centuries. Exactly. Have you two heard about this beast? It does exist. You've heard about it too? Yes. There are Shixel folktales that speak of a similar beast. Well then, the Arch-Imperator must know how destructive the beast can be. After Hodo, I saw the ominous signs of a red moon. Hodo is only the harbinger of the true savagery. 1,000 years ago, Emberia slain Yama, Amorphous, and sealed Hodo. Kongming knows the beast better than anyone. You can overturn Emberia today, but when another beast comes, what will your chances be? And your missing soldiers are still trapped in the valley. Emberia can help find them if a deal is struck today. I understand you're fighting for your justice, but no one has anything to gain from this nasty war. The Arch-Imperator and Corsair Queen both became silent. Can I count on you about 8 million tons of rice in a month? You have my word. Well, if we don't see the food aid in a month, this treaty will be nullified and our rage will burn down everything. Fair enough. But you retreat tonight from Emberia. If we deliver on our end, you must fully honor the terms. Papers and brush pens were presented. The terms were written down and signed by the 3 parties. Well, that's it.
I hope you can be trusted, founder of Emberia. Emberia will honor the pact. With the signed treaty, Kongming and I left the command and soon returned to Moon Emberia. Roamed the realm. Kongming, I didn't know you were such an elegant liar. And the feeling is mutual. By the way, did you read some astrology books? Even I was almost fooled by you. Oh, I was simply imitating your way of speaking. You... Kongming's fan hit my head before I could dodge. That should put an end to it. Ah, my heart feels so much lighter now. A flurry of hurried footsteps sounded. I stopped and saw Rita and Teresa running over with worried faces. Your Majesty took too much risk venturing over the border. If we didn't make it on time... Well, we've returned safe and sound. Kongming led in the front while Rita and Teresa followed her closely. I sighed softly in relief behind their backs. The guards told us that you promised 8 million tons of rice in a month in exchange for peace. Is it true? 8 million tons? That's the entirety of our stock. How could we manage to feed our people then? In fact, I was about to explain when the robotic voice sounded again at this very inconvenient time. Countdown, 9 seconds, teleportation terminating. What? Not again, not now! My consciousness came back. I heard scattered footsteps and I saw the almost too familiar wooden screen. Some handmaids passed by. I wobbled to get on my feet and tried to ask them what happened. Excuse me, is Kongming... No one paid me any heed. They rushed past with anxious faces. No, Kongming is not... Strong faintness overwhelmed me. I took a deep breath and began to sprint for the central palace. My head was a mess. I couldn't help thinking about what I had done wrong and how could I make it right. It's a long, long way. Yeesh, I'm burping a lot right now. When I finally reached out my hand to the door, my hand was quivering all over. That's enough. I won't be able to lift my legs with this on. Should we try? I want to try it too. Loud laughter came from behind the door. I pushed the door open, not knowing what to expect. Captain? Where have you been? Why are you all so surprised? What happened? Mannerless fool, you left without a word and now you swagger in like nothing has happened? The 4 of us were taking a walk and you simply vanished in a puff of smoke. You could have given us a notice. Your transgression and insolence call for proper punishment. Waterboarding, public shaming, or flogging? What's on your mind, Your Majesty? Rita gave me a wicked smile, and Kongming studied my reactions with great curiosity. Wait, what? Never mind. Since you've returned, I'll graciously forgive your misconduct. Well, Your Majesty certainly wasn't gracious when you were stumping the floor for Captain's missing earlier. It never happened. Looks like your captain is spared then. Come on, you weren't being serious, right? Rita, let's follow through the plan. Sure. Captain, please excuse us for a moment. What plan? They retreated to the inner room. After a flurry of chuckles, Kongming's voice passed over. Wait, Rita! I'm not wearing this flower. It's too childish. Your Majesty, it's the latest fashion. It complements your dress like nothing else. Here, let me do it for you. Look how fabulous you are. Your Majesty, why are you blushing? Please be still, Your Majesty. No, it's tickling. When I couldn't be more confused, Rita let out a soft chuckle again. Alright, it's finished. Captain, take a guess now. Which one is Kongming? Yeah, tell us. Come on, it's too easy. Of course it's... Stop teasing, Captain, now. It's almost time. Fine, I'll get dressed. Captain, how does it look on me? It looks bad? No, I was at a loss for words. This dress is specially tailored for Chisi. Captain, you're so insensitive. It looks very nice, actually. Never mind, I don't care about your opinion. Still, you have no excuse to be unprepared for the special occasion. As Kongming spoke, she fixed a jade amulet to my belt. This would do for now. It's time for us to set off. Where to? Why, the Lantern Fair, of course. We'll watch the lantern show and pray for good fortune with the people of Emberia. Let's go, Captain. Oh. It's a summer evening of refreshing breezes, and we arrived at the Star Pavilion in fast wagons. Every house was decorated with colored glazed lanterns, and children were running around the corners with pinwheels. We're seeing a lot of new and beautiful lanterns tonight. Yes, a few days ago a craftsman came and he is said to be a master of lanterns. Maybe we can invite him to the palace. That won't be necessary. A river of lanterns flew within the passing crowd. The three girls were having a rarely good time in the festive scene. But for me, everything looked unreal. It's all too good to be true. How are things going with Jormungand and Schicksal? Thanks to Captain, trade has opened up and the three kingdoms are entering a mutually beneficial relationship. We handed out our seed rice to the farmers on the Peace Talk Day, and exactly 1 month later, new crops were harvested. Well, the credit goes to the boosted crop developed by Kongming. It ripes in a month. That's mind-blowing magic. Kongming-sama came up with a lot of new stuff at the ruins, and the Imperial Repository almost can't hold them all. There is use for each and every one of them. As we spoke, the wagons had taken us to the central of Moon Emberia. A wooden tower stood out among all the shops and houses. Numerous lanterns danced to the rhythm of the wind. That's probably the Star Pavilion they talked about. Are you looking at the tall building over there? That's where the prayers will be held tonight. Prayers? It's a tradition of the Empire. Every Chisi night, people parade the city and pray for happiness and prosperity. In my eyes, these festivals are only meant to serve people's selfish desires. We ate tanjuan on Lantern Festival and climb mountains on Double Ninth. Must do activities for every festival. Kongming supported her head with one hand and checked the passing crowds with indifferent, tired eyes. Well, even so, these special days do give us a reason to reunite for a pleasant time, don't they? In the festive atmosphere, even normal views and mundane activities may bring a fresh taste. Is it so? Kongming tut-tutted in disapproval, and I turned away from the awkwardness. The wagons came to a stop shortly. We've arrived. With Imperial guards lined up on the side, Kongming walked Rita and Teresa to the Star Pavilion. I'll leave it to you two. Sure, we can handle it. Are you sure not to come along? Citizens of Moon Emberia heard your return and would be honored by your presence. The truth is, the long years at the altar have washed away my memory of the ceremony. Teresa can host it better. As you wish, then. Please take care of Her Majesty, Captain. Sure. Rita and Teresa can have all the overly sophisticated ceremony and speeches, while we join the crowd to have some fun. Huh? The next moment, I was forcibly dragged by Kongming into the sea of people. So many people here to see the boat parade! Good thing they're all high-tail boats today. I can at least see the orchid lanterns hanging at the stern. Why don't you sit on my shoulders and see the whole picture? No sooner had I finished my words than a fan slap hit my shoulder. The parade is for people like you who haven't seen much of the world, and I've seen it every single year. But the childlike joy on her face betrayed her pretended poise. Her eyes could hardly leave the lanterns. Ah, it's Fen's sweet shop. I want red bean mochi and sugar haas. I thought you had been here many times, and you must have had plenty of these before. Sure, and that's why I know what tastes good and what doesn't. And you've got to taste the smiley face at the Cheesy Fair. A grand parade of oil, flour, sugar, and honey. Yeah, I got it. Tell me what you want, and I'll go get them for you. Sweet milky balls and red bean mochi, 3 of each. Osmanthus pudding, double sugar, and 2 ruby. Can you really stomach that much? Wait, have you finished? Kongming looked up at me, pointed at the crystal cake stand, and began to play cute with her big watery eyes. Mr. Assassin, please? Yeah, why not? Huh? Wait, what did you just call me? Kongming ignored me, handed me all the desserts, and before I got a firm grip, she had dragged me to the next shop. Hey, sugar figurines over there. Sugar figures over there. Come on, before there's nothing left for us. Weird? This is weird. Yes, she's unmistakably Kongming, but right now she feels insanely different. Is it the festive atmosphere? Well, I certainly won't mind if her happy-go-lucky side can last. Are you happy now? Happy? What? I couldn't stand your long face all the way, so I decided to tease you a bit. Now you're grinning like an idiot. I hope you're not getting any wrong ideas. Kongming unfolded the paper cover of the freshly steamed mutton bun, blew it slightly colder, and began to enjoy it. Underneath the flower lanterns, her face had a rosy sheen that could be easily mistaken for a flush. Come on, the happier one of us is definitely... Who? Who is it? Kongming's cold gaze froze my tongue. Oh, the sugar figures are ready. The 2 shining sugar figures handed over by the master came to my rescue and diverted Kongming's attention. 2 funny-looking sugar figures, to be honest. Kongming couldn't help but burst into laughters. Hey, drop that look. You're not thinking these 2 figures look like us, are you? They are in our likeness, because I say so. Now, let's check out the other side. Let's check out the other side. Kongming nipped at the figure while watching the lanterns, and I was following her closely with 2 hands full. As the parade fleet roamed by, thousands of lanterns lit up the sky like the stars. The whole world had gone festive. Lanterns! Fabulous lanterns! At reasonable prices! With the bells tinkling, a lantern craftsman holding a black umbrella chanted as he passed us by. That must be the lantern master Teresa talked about. These lanterns look really nice, but I feel something is lacking. What? You expect them to fly like birds? No, it's not what I meant. Well, what wouldn't be too hard? Captain, are you up for a little challenge? I guess. What is it? Kongming turned around and her eyes shone bright like stars. We'll make a lantern that can fly like a bird. Kongming spread the thin paper, cropped it into 5 equal parts, and carefully placed them on the bamboo threads. It's been a long time since I did this. I'm not sure if I can still make it work. It will fly. Technically, as long as the paper holds and the rosin burns, it can keep ascending. Kongming squinted at me and chuckled. I could only recite more of the high school physics I learned to sound right. The look on your face is precious when you try to explain something like a teacher. But tonight is the last night you stay here, right? Huh? I didn't say so. You said nothing, but it's written all over your face. I've been working on my formation these 3 months with the hope of sending you back to your world. I knew you'd leave someday, but it's much sooner than I expected. Alright, we might as well enjoy the last night. We have a lantern fair every year, but this time is different. Captain, can you see the tower over there? In a while, Rita and Teresa will ascend the tower and hold prayers for good fortune shared by all of Embera. I followed Kongming's eyes and found the majestic tower. Captain, do you think our prayers will reach the stars thousands of miles above us? I didn't know the answers, but Kongming didn't seem to mind either. She adjusted the skeleton so the lantern could fly. It's done. Maybe you can write a wish on the sky lantern, and it will bring your wish to the stars. The lantern fire twinkled like a star, putting a soft glow on her somewhat wistful face. She handed the lantern to me. Do you have a wish to write on the lantern? Huh? For real? Let me think. Think it as part of the celebration. Maybe the festive atmosphere does indeed make it special. That sounds familiar. Alright, I won't tease you more. Take your time while I return to the Star Pavilion for a brush pen. I'll go with you. No need. I'll take the shortcut and be back soon. Besides, you can't walk fast holding the lantern in the crowds. Just wait for me here and I'll be back before you know it. Kongming smiled as she walked across the timber bridge and disappeared in the bamboo grove. What should my wish be? World peace? It's too unoriginal. Safely back to Hyperion? That sounds better. Forget it. No need to take this seriously. It won't grant my wish like the golem. But what took Kongming so long? I'll go find her. I took the shortcut to the city with my hands protecting the lantern from the crowds and my eyes searching for her. Noises from the fair passed over. On the ornate tower, tens of hanging flower lanterns were dancing in the wind. But the next instant, the beams tumbled and Star Pavilion was set on fire. The sparks hit the trees nearby and the city turned red. I began to sprint. Heavy smoke engulfed the city, and the blissful Cheesy Lantern Fair turned into a disaster movie. The block around the tower was full of wooden structures, and that allowed the fire to run wild unstoppably. Kongming! Rita! Teresa! Stay clear! The area is locked down to contain the fire. Do not approach. Have you seen Kongming? The guards are searching. Are you sure Her Majesty is here? She returned to the Star Pavilion for a pen. Let me through. I'll find her. No, you shall not pass. Let me go! The guards blocked my path and held my arms. I wriggled free and dashed to the fire. Kongming! As I ran into a wall of fire and tried to get around it, a burned-out beam crumbled and hit hard on my back. But I could feel no pain, as if all my senses had been severed. All I could hear was their names ringing in my head. I will save you, each and every one of you. Step back! Do you have a death wish or something? The tower is on fire and no one can make it out. We found lots of explosives southwest of the tower. Someone may have planted them. Watch out! Back off! Back off! Everyone back off! No one can make it out. Lots of explosives. Cries, screams, and other noises surged into my ears, but my world had quieted down into absolute silence. I thought I had directed history to a happy ending, but everything I built fell apart in a wink like House of Cards. It's collapsing! Run! Keep away from it! The crowds rushed by and pushed me away from the fire. I reached out my hand, but the only thing I caught was air. No, it's not over! It can't be over yet! Miss Iron Fist, if I can find her, there's still a chance to turn it around. The crowds were in my way. The guards were in my way. The fire was in my way. Something intangible was holding me back like a rising tide. I had no choice but to throw myself head first into it. I grabbed the rail on the side to steady myself and slowly pushed myself against the crowds. Having passed the guards, I began to make a desperate run to the central palace. If I had known it earlier, if I had stopped Kongming from returning to Star Pavilion, if I disarmed the bombs, But I can still turn back time and make things right.